everybody, welcome to Scotch Kitchen. I hope you're all fine. I'm fine, thank you. And here we are again, another Saturday. So we're going to be cooking. I've got a few things that I've prepared, and what we're cooking today is curry meatballs, mixed vegetables. I'm gonna stir fry the mixed vegetable, and then we're having that with some couscous. I've done a little bit of preparation here, which I'm going to go through with you so that you can be able to see what I have right in front of me. Let's just kick this in and let everybody know that we're online so that we can get on with it, yeah? I hope that your day is okay so far. Here it is freezing, I won't lie to you. It's really, really cool, but that is okay. So, hi Katie, thank you my lovely for joining. I hope you're fine, my lovely. So guys, if I can do this really, really quick, and then we can go ahead and yeah, I think I'm done, which is okay. So I'll wash my hands really, really quick, and then I can go ahead and explain to you what I have right in front of me. So if you just bear with me 1 second, wash my hands there really quick. And wipe. Okay, so right in front of me I have here tinned tomato. It was a lot, so I've put it on this because I'm not going to use all of it. I'm going to store some of it. That's why it's on a plastic bowl. And then on my lovely tray, I hope you're able to see that. There you go. A bit closer, yeah. So at the farthest end we have 2 white onions. I've chopped them, and then here we have some courgette, and then some carrots and some tomatoes. The carrots, tomatoes, and courgettes are going to go on our couscous because I'm going to have a separate bowl to show you guys in a second for the vegetable that I'm going to stir fry. So I have my bowl here with some couscous, so I'm going to show you how to do it. It's so easy to do couscous, and it is very, very sweet. So most of these ingredients here are going to go in the couscous. So here I have a lovely bowl full of juicy stuff, and you can see there I've got some courgette, I've got carrots, I've got broccolis, I've got peas. It's just a mixture of mixed vegetables, and that's what I'm going to stir fry. And then here I have my meatballs, right? So my meatballs are ready to go, and I'm going to start preparing the meatballs first, and then after preparing the meatballs, I'm going to go ahead and do the couscous, because with the couscous I have to leave it for a few minutes first for it actually to cook. It's so easy how to do it. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay, dear, this is not good. Just bear with me 1 second. I need to do one thing. Okay. So, let's get on with it. Okay. So with my meatballs, what I'm going to do first, I'm going to shallow fry them really, really quick. We need them to get to be a bit brown. So you need an empty pan or a pot, whatever you're going to use. I'm using one of my pans. So I need that to be really on high heat. If it goes on, there you go, come on. Today, we have a backup. There you go. And the funny thing, you're new, since the old one is showing more dust to the new one. Okay, so we have our lovely pan there. I want that heat to be heated really high, and then I'm going to also, I didn't tell you guys, I'm using today olive oil, and I'm using rapeseed oil. I'm using walnut oil as well, sorry. I'll bring that in because I want to use that for my couscous. But for now, for my olive oil, I'm using it with the meatballs. The spices that I'm going to use today, because remember we are making actually a curry, so I'm using curry powder. So you need about a teaspoon of curry powder or 2 tablespoons of curry powder. So you can just put them in a bowl, and then you just decide how much you're going to actually use. I have some paprika here. And then I have some, blended in some garlic and ginger together. My light is really, really bright, but there you go. That's my garlic and ginger. And then I have my tomato paste, which I've added a little bit of oil inside there, just to make it really nice and fluffy. And then I'm also using some cardamom spices, ground pepper, and I'm using mixed pepper. Salt, which is, again, to your choice. If you want to use some salt, go ahead. If you don't want to use some salt, that's okay. Let's get on with this. So our pan is definitely really nice and hot. You need about 2. Remember, we're just shallow frying our meatballs, so you don't need too much oil. You're not deep frying them. Remember that. You're just shallow frying. So you just need a little bit of oil to make sure when we put our meatballs in there, the meatballs are going to just brown. That's all we are doing. We're just browning them. So again, I need my oil to be really, really hot for me to get on with the meatballs. So when my meatballs are actually just getting red, when my, what do we call it again? When my pan and hot water is getting ready, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with my couscous. So this is my couscous. You need, again, when you buy couscous on the pack, you should be having instructions of how much water, ratio of hot water to cold water you're actually going to have inside. So always read the pack to be able to know exactly how much water you will need in the couscous, because you don't want your couscous to be soggy, and you don't also want it to be uncooked. Uncooked, I'll also show you that. Back to our meatballs. Putting your meatballs inside your pan. Be very careful, because your oil is definitely hot at this point. So I'm just going one at a time. And we're just browning these lovely meatballs. Yeah. And there we go. Because again, this meal should really be ready very quick. Very, very quick. Right? So, I'm gonna put that on this corner, wash my hands really quick, and where's my cloth? Here. Okay. My meat is cooking there, and we are back here with our couscous. So remember, here I have about 575 grams of couscous, and I'm going to use hot water. And what normally I do, before I put my hot water actually, I'm going to get some olive oil. I wanted to use walnut oil, but I don't want to leave, so I'm going to just use my olive oil. So I'm going to go with some olive oil just before you add your water. You don't want your couscous to be really dry. You want it to actually be nice and moist and really nice and soft in the mouth. That's why you go ahead and add some oil. You can add some salt, just a sprinkle of salt. This is when, if you wish to, you can add your spices. This is when I normally add my spices, and the spice I'm using is just the mixed spices. That's all I'm using, just a little sprinkle of it. When you're doing couscous, you need a fork. Don't use a spoon. Again, when you use a spoon, it's going to be really soggy, and that is not what we're trying to achieve. Yeah? Mix all that dry ingredients. Oil is not dry definitely, but you put your spices and your salt and the couscous, they're the dry ingredients. And the oil now, which is sort of a liquid. Mix that together. And then get your hot water and pour the hot water in there. You're going to do this partially, almost two. So again, another thing normally I normally tend to do, to just know if I am actually on the right boat of mixing the couscous or not. If you're not 100% sure about the measurement, just busted one of it. If you're not sure about the measurement, just make sure that your water is just about the couscous. Then the next thing you need to cover your couscous. You need some cling film, and you need to cover it really nice and tight, because that is how you're cooking. You're just cooking it using your hot water. It's not going to the hob or anything fancy like that. Just make sure that it's covered really firm. And we're going to set a timer. and I am going to go for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to check on it again. When that couscous is already cooking there on the side, it's going to be really, really quick meal. Come back here onto our meatballs. So just turn them around. Be very careful, because like I've already busted one of my meatballs. Be gentle and turn them around, because you want to cook them all round to make sure that they are all brown, because you're not cooking them, you're just browning them. That's what you should also remember. Yeah, we're just browning them. Woo! Already look amazing. My busted one, which is okay. They started becoming really nice and brown. Wait, I am going to show you guys now. As you can see there, they've already started to become really nice and brown, and that's exactly what we are trying to achieve. You don't want them burnt. I've reduced my heat a little bit, because again, I just want them to cook slowly, right? I'm going to give them a minute, or even less than that. And now what I'm going to do, because remember, this is just the first part of the cooking. Next, I'm going to transfer my meatballs onto my plate, and that's going to be on the side, and then we're going to start preparing our sauce, because we are doing our curry, and we don't need to overcook our spices and all the other lovely ingredients that we're going to put there. So the meatballs are actually ready now, so ready to remove them onto the hob, and I'm going to do that now. Put them on the side. Just make sure you use something hollow like this, so that you retain the lovely juices that are cooking inside there on the same, because we're using the same pan. You're not changing the pan. We're not adding any more oil. We are using the exact same oil that we have here. And that's why I was telling you, you don't need to put too much oil. You just need just a little bit of oil, just to make sure you shallow fry your meatballs, right? Okay, that was easy. Next, meatballs shallow fried on the side. Let's get our onions in here. Yeah, put the onions in there on one side, and then I normally do this. So when I'm putting in my spices, before I actually marinate all the spices in there, I'm going to put them on each corner. I'm going to show you guys. And then when they start bubbling up, so that's my paprika, and that's my curry powder, my garlic and ginger, my tomato paste, so everything has a lovely corner on my pan, and this is how they actually look. As you can see, ooh, it's really hot. Yeah, so we want to cook that for a let just those all lovely juices and spices mix together, not mixed together, start bubbling away, and then we're going to mix them all together. Yeah, first you start with your onion. Just make sure that your onion is definitely getting all the lovely juices of the oil first, and make sure when your onion starts actually becoming a little bit not soggy, a little bit soft, not brown, a little bit soft, that's when it's going to be time to actually do the mixing for everything. Let me just get my wooden spoon. There you go. Okay, let's get on to the mixing now. Mix all that lovely ingredients together. Yeah. Mix everything with your onion. So just remember, here we have our paprika, we have garlic and ginger, we have our curry powder. I've not put any cardamom yet. I'm going to do that. I've not put any black pepper and mixed pepper. I've not put all that. It's going to go in here. So at the moment we just have paprika, onion, curry powder, and tomato paste. So this is what you should have, a really thick Let me move it up. There you go. You should have like a really thick paste of your onion. The smell is amazing. Really, really amazing. Okay, turn your heat up, and then you take your tomatoes and they go in there. Right? I can just say you can use 3/4 of your tin tomato, not a whole tin tomato, just 3/4 of it. That should be okay. Mix that up together. Yeah. And then this is when you're going to add salt. I thought the spices were salty enough for me not to add salt. Again, when you're adding salt, it's to your desire. You don't have to put exactly the same amount as myself. It's your desire. Some people don't have salt at all. Some people do have salt. I have salt, so I normally just do a sprinkle. I don't put too much as well, because too much salt as well is not good for you. I just put enough salt for the taste. But it depends as well. Sometimes the spices I'm using, if they're very, very strong, I don't add any salt. And you should be able to taste your spices as well to know if they are salty enough or they're not. If they're just pure spices without, especially if you're using mixed spices, some mixed spices are always really, really salty. So I've tasted that and it's okay. That's why I'm just adding a sprinkle of salt. So just go to the fridge. I'm going to use some sour fresh cream, and it's because we are making curry. So I want this is just mainly to make my curry really nice and thick, and that's why I am using it. Again, if you don't have some soured fresh cream, don't worry about it, because after you put your tomatoes, you should have a very thick sauce there. So that's it. That's thick enough for you. Well and good. You don't need to add any more of that lovely sour cream sauce. So I normally like it because apart from it being really nice and thick to make my stew even more thick, it has some sour taste. That's why it's called sour. It's a sour cream. It has some sour taste. So I'm going to go with just 2 lovely big lumps of tablespoon. That's done. That's enough. And I'm going to mix that lovely inside there. Then, after I've mixed that in there, so now we have even a thicker sauce, which I'm going to show you guys. There you go. As you can see, it's really nice and thick, and you can see, hi Della, and you can see all those lovely juices in there. Next, let's get our meatballs in there. Put your meatballs in, take your time. You can just shove them in if you wish to. I don't like shoving them in, I like putting them one at a time to make sure when I'm putting one at a time, I'm just wiggling them a bit. Which again, you don't have to do that, but it's your choice, because again, that sauce is hot. So if you're confident enough with the heat level, do that. If you're not confident, just chuck them in there, give them a few minutes, and then you turn them. The main reason why I'm doing this, I tend to try and avoid to keep on turning my meatballs, because I want them whole. I don't want them crushed. Right? Put all the meatballs in there. Pack all that lovely juice in there. Wash my hands really, really quick. And just to make sure I'm pushing them right inside and making sure all my spices are mixed there. Gently do it. You're not in a hurry. You want to make sure that your meatballs get to the table whole. Sorry about the background noise. You want the meatballs to get on your table whole, so why not take your time? So there we go. Right? So meatballs are almost ready. So now is when I'm going to go in with the other spices. So I'm going to go in with half a teaspoon of cardamom, Just a sprinkle of black pepper. It's good if you love chili. This is the time for you to actually put chili. And I'm putting my mixed spice as well. Just a sprinkle of it. And this is just to add extra taste onto my lovely meatballs. Right? Give them a bit of a jerk. Yeah. Looks amazing. It looks really, really amazing. So, the last part of this is going to be, ooh, tastes really nice. Adding a little bit of water. I'm going to use my jug. So again, when you're adding water onto your lovely meatballs or your stew, it depends how you love. If you love so much stew, why not? If you just like it just right, go ahead. The best thing is you just put some stew or water inside there to your desire. That's the whole idea of it, right? Okay. Meatballs done. Last but not least, just cover it up and we're going to move it to the end because we want it to just marinate slowly. We want it to cook now, just on the side, on its own, to cook slowly as we go to our next thing. Turn the heat down there. So when our meatballs are cooking, we're going to go ahead and start doing our quick stuff, right? Remember I told you guys our meal is going to be really, really super quick. Yeah? So we have our lovely pan there, ready to go. Don't forget your couscous. So you can check. Our couscous is looking really nice and dry. Couscous is almost just like rice, but it's like rice with very tiny granules. It's really, really nice. It's really filling as well. So, don't need my tin tomato anymore. So our vegetables are here. I need a little bit of onions here. Actually, before I go ahead and do my stir fry, I am going to prepare my vegetables that are going to go in the couscous. You can have them raw if you wish to, or you can just give them a little bit of a heat up, what I'm about to do, and then I'm just going to put them on the side. Ready when the couscous is almost done, I will go ahead and actually mix them up. So, I'm going to use rapeseed oil for this. So you just need a half a tablespoon. We talked about tablespoon and teaspoons, right? So half a tablespoon for that to go. Then I need a little bit of onions. Yeah. And then I'm going to, remember I just want to heat them up just a little bit. My cherry tomatoes are not going to go in here. It's just my courgettes and my carrots. I'm just heating them up just a little. Yeah, because this is what is going to go onto my couscous. Yeah, be very careful, otherwise you're going to have all your lovely juices on the floor. Okay, sprinkle a little bit of paprika. Paprika is better. She never misses in my kitchen. I love using paprika. I tend to use it because it's that type of ingredient you can use it when cooking anything. So, a little sprinkle of paprika there, and then this is going to really surprise you. I'm going to have some raisins as well onto this. So this actually is really, really a good meal for somebody who's vegetarian. If you're having this, so you can have your couscous and you can have all these vegetables just away. So this bit I'm doing is really good. It's amazing for vegetarians. So you have onions. So I've used rapeseed oil. You have onions, you have courgettes, and you have some carrots. Sprinkle of paprika, and then you need a bowl of raisins. So I have here a bowl of raisins, as you can see, and that goes inside there. Give that a little bit of a mix as well, because remember we need all these lovely juices really nice and crunchy, so we're not going to cook them for long at all. Because remember we have our stir-fried vegetables ready to cook as well. This is just that mixture that is going to go into our couscous, right? Okay, that's done. That is done. So that is what we have. So these lovely juices vegetable, they're all going inside our lovely. These are going to go on our lovely couscous. Okay, back. That same pan in there, we're preparing vegetables. So again, don't have a headache of changing. So what I'm going to do now, I am just going to transfer my tomatoes in here. And then what I'm going to do next, I'm going to take my olive oil and I'm going to sprinkle my olive oil onto these lovely vegetables. I don't want them to dry up, so I'm sprinkling a little bit of olive oil on them because remember they are going onto my couscous. Okay, back here now. So now we're going to prepare our stir fry where we have our mixed vegetables here. So we have courgette, we have broccoli, we have some carrots, we have some pepper, we have some peas. Any type of vegetables you have can go. Don't worry about it so much. So our onions go in fast, really nice and hot on our pan. Yeah. So we don't need this board here anymore and I can move it to gain a little bit of space, which is good. Going to let that cook for a few minutes while I wash this lovely cooking stick because I love it. I love using these ones. So our onions are there and we want this to be really, really, really hot. And the good thing about this stir fry is everything is just going to go in there. Right, there you go. So all that lovely juiciness is in here. Give that baby a bit of a mix. Yeah. Give it a bit of a mix. And then what we're going to do next, we're going to go ahead, add our paprika again on here. Remember I told you paprika goes in most of my thing. I have some garlic and ginger left here. That's going to go in here as well to just completely finish that up. And then a sprinkle of salt. Amazing. Mix that baby up. Woohoo! We're going to leave that to cook for a few minutes on very high heat. Yeah? Just a few minutes. I'm just making sure all those lovely juices as my paprika is actually on it. So, our vegetable is cooking here. Our meatballs are bubbling up there. Let's go to our couscous. Very soon we'll be serving. That's how amazing we've just done. Right? That's how amazing we've just done. So let me just clean the surface here. Really, really quick. Yeah. So, back to our couscous. Our couscous, as you can see, as I explained earlier on, you need a fork. Open it up. And you need to mix it up again. As you can see, it's really gone a little bit dry, which is okay. So that's why you need a fork rather than a spoon, because a fork helps you to separate the granules better than a spoon. So just be patient and just take your time and go around your bowl with your fork and make sure all the lumps are separated. Just make sure all those lumps are separated. Don't forget on your vegetable, the one we are stir frying. Mix that up. So next, I'm going to add a little bit more water again. Where's my jug? I'm going to add a little bit more water on my couscous. You should be able, so you know when it tells you, let's say you need 160 ml of water, don't pour the whole 160 ml of water the first go. Divide the 160 into two. So you go like 80, you pour the 80 first, Cover this baby up, and then you go with the next 80. The main reason why I'm telling you you will be able to have a chance to do what I'm doing now, mixing it, and it's going to help your couscous rise. If you realize, we started with like half a bowl of couscous, and if you can see now, our bowl is almost full, and as you can see, the bottom we still have some water, so it somehow absorbs that water that we've just put in here. We're going to cover it again because it's not done. We want it to cook to be really nice when we add our vegetables. Just cover the baby up again. The flame helps retain the heat inside there. When it's absorbing that lovely water, the clean flame helps to retain the heat. Yeah? Okay, let's go back to our vegetable. Again. Where's my table cloth or whatever I was using? There you go. Wash my hands really quick. Onto my vegetables. Yeah. These are definitely done. So my vegetables are definitely done. But I'm going to leave them in here for another minute. Going to leave them here for another minute because now they are really lovely and crunchy. Again, it depends how crunchy you want your vegetables. If you want them super crunchy, go ahead and remove them now. If you want them to be not super crunchy, just like halfway, give them another minute the way I'm giving it, because as you realize, we've just cooked them for less than 5 minutes, which is good, because you want to taste those juiciness in your vegetables, right? Okay, that minute going on, I am going to go ahead and bring one of this. That's why I'm going to serve my vegetable. That's why I'm going to serve my couscous, my meatballs, and the sauce for my meatballs. Now, we're going to almost the serving part. So, when you're serving your meals, presentation really, really matters. Sometimes you've cooked your meal and you feel like, I'm not really 100% sure, especially if something that you're cooking for the first time, you're not really sure if anybody's going to love it. I can assure you, how you present that meal, you're going to be surprised of the reaction of the people you're actually preparing that meal. So take a bit of your time when you're actually doing the serving or you're doing the presentation of that, because that really, really, really matters. So my vegetables are done, and I'm just going to serve them on this lovely white bowl. And again, if you can try and use mainly clear plates, because if you use, let's say if you use a plate that's really floured or it has so much details on, and you want to present your food, the details are going to take over what you're actually putting on that plate. People are going to concentrate more on the background, which is the details of the plate, rather than the food itself. That's why most restaurants, they always use like a clear plate, either white, red, as long as it's a clear plate. With a clear plate, like you can see now, I'll just show you what I'm trying to talk about. If you see my vegetables now, they look even more scrumptious because they're in a clear white bowl. So if you want to do your presentation, try and get clear plates. Try and avoid the floured plates, because if you use a floured plate, that means that your meal is already perfect. People know how it tastes, and there's no more impressions you want to make. So go ahead and do that. That said, I'm not trying to discourage you using your own plate. You can always continue using your plate, but just to remind you that presentation goes a long way. So no matter what you're preparing, how you present it really matters. You can be the best chef in the world, but if you don't present that food really properly or really tasty, people are going to just be eating because they're hungry. They're not going to be eating because they really, really, really want to know, or they're not curious as to know what is on that food. Yeah? Okay. So my meatballs are there, bubbling away. I'm gonna turn that heat. I'm going to go back onto my couscous. I need to give it another minute because I can see the bottom is absorbing, but it's not absorbed 100%. So I'm going to leave that for a second. Let me concentrate on my meatballs, because my meatballs are actually done. So if I just go ahead, because I brought 2 bowls for my meatballs, because the stew is going to be on one and the meatballs itself are going to be on the other. So again, the main reason why I'm separating the two is because when somebody's serving the meatballs, I want them to just concentrate serving the meatballs. And then after serving the meatballs, it's their choice how much stew they want. But if you put everything together, people tend to really struggle when they're serving themselves. And you find people, like, if you're a lot of you in a room waiting to actually serve the meal, you wait longer. The main reason you wait longer is somebody's still fluffing. They only want 1 piece, but every time they pick the 1 piece, they end up with 3 pieces. They don't want 3, they just want 1. So if you tend to separate, like if you have, let's say, the way I'm having my meatballs now, if you tend to separate them when you're serving them, so if you can put them separately, well and good. If you can't put them separately, just go ahead and serve them in that 1 bowl and just chill. Where people are serving, you just need to be a little bit patient, right? So I'm going to serve my meatballs here while we are waiting for our couscous to get ready. I hope you've really enjoyed this quick one, because now I am trying to see if I can make my videos really nice and quick, right to the point, and for you guys to be able to learn a lot in a very short time. Because again, the longer we stay here, it's going to be a little bit boring. So now we've served our meatballs there, and then now we have our lovely stew, and that is going to go in another bowl. Don't worry so much. I'm going to turn the camera around for you guys to be able to see all this lovely meal that we've just prepared. So there are my meatballs, as you can see there. So if you really wish, you can do this. I'll show you now. It's Scotch Kitchen. We are always adventurous. We are never shy on trying something new. So on our meatballs, I'm still waiting for my couscous here. So I'm showing you something else which you can do. I'm about to do that. Get some cheese, and you want to grate your cheese. Again, this is just like presentation, nothing technical or writing. Take your cheese and you want to grate your cheese on top of your meatballs. I'm going to do it just a little fast, and then I'm going to do it again just before I turn the camera around for you guys to be able to see. And look at that. Isn't that looking amazing or what? So you have your lovely meatballs with a sprinkle of cheddar, mature cheddar, and voila, that's sorted. Okay, so we have our lovely stew there. We have our lovely meatballs there. Now, let's concentrate on our couscous. Yes, my lovely, thank you. Let's concentrate on our couscous. Our couscous should be done now, which is not really a biggie. So, this is the last part of it. And what I'm going to do, again, you just do the same mixing. So I'm getting my bowl. I hope you're able to see this. And this is when I'm going to do my mixing again. So now my bowl that I originally used, as you can see, it somehow becomes small, because my couscous has actually risen to the occasion, which is good. If you're preparing your couscous and it's not rising, there's something wrong. So just make sure it actually rises, because it has to rise. If it's not rising, find out if that water is hot enough. If the water is not hot enough, make sure you heat up your hot water, because you don't need cold water. Some people use cold water to mix it, but it doesn't taste the same basically. So make sure your water is really nice and hot. Make sure your water is nice and hot so that you can have 100% result, right? So as you can see here, I am getting all the couscous, but my couscous is too much on my bowl. This is okay. The rest can stay there because I can freeze. By the way, you can put that in a bowl. The leftovers, you can put it in a bowl and you can use it again another time. Look at those vegetables. They are amazing. They are really, really amazing. And remember, you've seen a bit of juice on my lovely vegetables just before I started putting here. Remember, I sprinkled a little bit of my olive oil so that it can actually go inside there and make sure my vegetables don't dry up. And then I have my cherry tomatoes here as well, so that as well is helping this lovely couscous, because couscous can be really, really dry, by the way. So, ooh, that looks really nice and amazing. So I'm going to make sure you can see all the vegetables are actually mixing up properly, and we are showing off everything. Then last but not least, I'm going to go back with my olive oil again, and I'm just going to have a lovely drizzle on my couscous, at the top of my couscous, and this is what we have, as you can see there. Right? So guys, we are done, which is really, really good. I am going to show off what we've just prepared today. Looks really yummy. And then I'm going to turn the camera around in a second. Woo, that's hot. So we have couscous on a mixed vegetable with stir-fried vegetable and meatballs. So remember, I told you guys I'm going to just give a little bit of a sprinkle of cheese again onto my meatballs, just a little, just to make it really nice and yeah, just really nice, and that's all, nothing much. Get my paprika, and I'm going to sprinkle my paprika. It's just presentation. Remember, I told you guys presentation is key. How you present your meal is very, very important. So I'm ready to turn my camera around now. So if you just bear with me 1 second, I'm going to turn the camera around for you guys to be able to see what we've actually prepared today. Move the things again a little bit. Amazing. Okay, just 1 second. Whoop, sorry guys, we're going a bit wobbly. Okay, so hope you're able to see this. So if I start here, so we have our mixed vegetables with a stir-fry mixed vegetable with a sprinkle of paprika there. And we've cooked this with our rapeseed oil. As you can see there, you can see all our carrots, you can see broccoli, you can see our courgette, onion, you can see peas. It's mixed of vegetables. We have some mushrooms there as well. And then immediately after that, we have our lovely meatballs with a sprinkle of mature cheddar cheese, which is served with its stew right next to it. And you see how the cheese is actually making the meatballs look even more scrumptious. And then last but not least, we have our lovely couscous on raisins, courgette, carrots, and cherry tomatoes with white onions. Sprinkle of paprika and olive oil. So now I'm not going to talk, I'm just going to keep quiet, and I'm just going to go round for you guys to be able to see what we've actually prepared today. So this is all what we've prepared today. Sorry. I'm just going to move the bowl a bit closer so that they can be much closer to each other for you guys to be able to see everything in a one. There you go. So that's what we've prepared today. Couscous on mixed vegetable with stir-fried vegetables and curry meatballs. Yeah. So guys, gonna put the back, mount it back on there. So again, sorry about the little bit of a shake. There you go. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you've actually learned a few things on how you can prepare your curry, meatballs. You can do a bit of presentation, you can do your stir fry, and last but not least, how to do your couscous. If you have any questions, just inbox me. And as I always said, we have our YouTube page. You can subscribe on it. I always share the link on the page. As well as that, we have a new page which is called patreon.com, and for $2, 200 Kenyan shillings, or £1.90, you can be able to become Scotch Kitchen patrons, and where you will be supporting Scotch Kitchen to continue doing what we are doing now. And all our recipes are now on patreon.com. So if you subscribe, it's a monthly fee. If you subscribe, you'll be able to have access to that. I hope I'm going to see you guys there. If not, keep on tuning in onto my page here, and also keep on subscribing onto our YouTube. I'm going to try and keep up and put in more videos there. That said, I hope you've learned something today. You have a lovely weekend. I hope I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.